So if you've been following along on this journey at all, you'll know that I'm trying to make a feature film about a family that tried to build a boat and sail it all the way from Melbourne to England. The place in England they wanted to make it to was Portsmouth, and that is where I am. You know, I've never been to the English coast before, and I'm not sure if it's like this all the way around, and I'm sure I'll find out during this trip, but it's rocky, and it's interesting, you know, that I've come to the coast on a day like today. Tomorrow's a bank holiday, so everyone's sort of in a good mood, and everything is really quite lovely here, you know, it's like idyllic. You know, I guess the feel of how John, the father of the family, would have grown up. This is where he grew up, and if it was a warm day like today, I'm pretty sure it would have been just like this, you know. Maybe obviously not the everything's built up as much as this, but you know, just the feel of it. And that's what I'm really, really enjoying so far, just listening to everybody, you know, watching everybody, and taking note, definitely. There's something I'm sure that always invariably happens when you're dealing with creating or making a true story into a feature film. And that is probably drawing the fine line between truth and creative license. For example, Portsmouth right now, and what I'm seeing right now, is that it's vibrant. But in the film itself, this is the climax, the emotional point of the film, and I honestly would like to portray England as quite dark and rainy, I guess. But that's a struggle that I play with. Like, is it better to stick with truth, which is, it could be either or is it better to stick with artistic license? It's a fine line that you always have to walk when bringing a true story into life. But I think honestly, character and vision come before the truth, and that's a weird way to look at telling a true story. So I credit the marathon that I ran in November last year as one of the first things that I've ever completed in my life. That really helped me in the process of making this film. Now, my mother was feeling like she couldn't really complete goals, so I said to her that she should run a marathon or run a half marathon. She took me up on my advice, and the problem with that is she's booked me in for the same half marathon that she's about to run next month. So I've got to start training again. So what does this have to do with the Horne family film? Well, not much, but at least I'll get to see a little bit more of Portsmouth. Around me is falling. Is it because I made everything fall? When everything around me is falling. Is it because... Okay, you might wonder why I'm just watching out the window. I'm meeting someone. I'm meeting someone important. In fact, this is the last scheduled meeting for the research of this film that I have planned on this whole trip. This is the uncle. This is John Horne, the father. It's his brother. This is Peter Horne. Before take away anything that either I've said or anything like that, what was your belief as to why John and the family came on this adventure back to England?
Well, this is his route here, Portsmouth, born and bred.
Yeah.
His mum and dad lived here. I was here. Well, I think it was a desire to do that.
The first rays of sun.
It'll be pleasant to arrive in Jakarta, stay in a nice hotel for a couple of nights instead of the grotty, mice-infested, mosquito-plagued hotel of 1973. I'm finding out things from Peter that you just can't find out from a son or a child. This is definitely a different level when you speak to a sibling, because you're dealing with like firsthand, like they're talking about shared parents, shared upbringing, which is something that I feel like kids just don't or can't pick up on because they were really young at the time. So that's been really, really cool. They had me on operation table. I woke to a bevy of beautiful nurses. I thought for the moment this must be heaven. Love to everyone. John and Gisela.
I'm going to the water to watch diamonds dancing.
So
This hasn't changed since we were children.
it was like this.
It was like this. 309.
309. There it is. He's
That bloke there.
That's the place. So you would have done this, like in the 50s?
Oh yeah. Well, mate, yeah, I would have done, because I couldn't reach that in the 40s. But yeah, nothing has changed at all. So I was born and bred here 1945, and nothing has changed whatsoever, except there were no cars.
And obviously Carsten, Andrew and Kirstine, they might have played in the street while they were here.
They would have done, yeah.
Would have done here.
Those right here.
In the middle of this area here. And great to get an idea of, I guess, to get an idea of where John's come from.
Well, this is where he came from.
So when I talk about the truth of the matter being more important than... Is this the entrance? No, it's around the corner. So when I talk about the truth of the matter being more important, or maybe being less important than character and vision of a film, I also refer to... There's one moment in the film where the grandmother was actually in Germany and not in Portsmouth. And so Gisela was the only one who actually went to the funeral. This is something that in the film I might want to change, because it might seem anticlimactic. And so where we are now is at what is this cathedral called?
St Thomas's.
So this is St Thomas. There's a whole range of different cathedrals in Portsmouth.
No, there's only two. There's the Anglican.
There's only two.
And one is the Roman Catholic.
And one's Roman Catholic.
Anglican.
So we're going to have a look inside, because this might be something like that I might want to film in, or like an English one to film in later on. We'll just have a look and see nonetheless.
Yeah.
So what would be the most English way to have a funeral, in your opinion? What does a funeral look like to you?
Things have changed now.
But let's say back then.
Back then it would have been a very sad occasion. It would always be in a church like this.
Like this?
Or smaller.
Or smaller,
but all English churches are similar. Old churches.
Yeah.
And it would have been a service here, and then they would have gone to a graveyard, which is either outside or maybe in the city here. We have 3 big graveyards. I don't know about John.
Yeah.
I always felt he wasn't religious at all.
But I think nonetheless, I would still, potentially for the film, I'd be looking at something, if it was something like this, it would be something a lot smaller. Well,
you've got plenty of options.
That's the thing. So many churches, so many places.
Yeah, plenty of options.
Plenty of options. Even, it just depends, but that's all like location stuff. Even the graveyard would be an option with the rain,
Done a few of those.
With the rain and the crows. So yesterday was really awesome. Like meeting Peter, I didn't really necessarily learn anything groundbreaking about John, but it just fills in the gaps. It's almost like, when you, I don't know, when you're watching a video on YouTube and maybe it's in like 480 and then it just clicks into high def, you know, that kind of thing. It's like gives you more detail, gives you more of a sense of something. But right now I'm about to be picked up by Peter again. We're going to go out today as well. Not sure where we're going to go. I think he might even take us to Southampton, where the family then went off to Sark. We'll see. Hello. Today was another great day with Peter. We went out to Southampton, caught up with Aunt Betty, who John grew up with. He gave me some photos to look at, lots more photos, and all the letters to look through. And more than that, he gave me insights into his brother. One thing that I realised as soon as getting into Portsmouth is that I'm close to the heart of it all, close to the heart of why potentially John wanted to come back here. I mean, it was his home, it was where he grew up, and it's been so good being here. I just really love the feel of this place, but I'm gonna just have to find a way to collect all the information that I've gathered about Portsmouth, about John, about Gisela, about the family, and work out how to incorporate that into the script. Yeah. What a place.